So yeah, thank you for taking the time to talk. So you were Orville the zombie, or Orville the dead body. What was it like to be Orville in such a creepy, cool movie?
It was wonderful. My first starring movie role.
That's awesome. What was it like working with the cast? Were they fun to work with? Like how would a normal day go when you guys were filming?
Well, Alan was a bit difficult sometimes, and I never could figure out whether it was a character or who was just whatever. But I kept putting the make on his wife because that was my character. I mean, she was in love with me in the character, so I reciprocated in kind, and I think he got jealous.
Oh. So some method acting there.
Well, I got into
it. And how long did it take to get all the makeup put on?
It took 3 hours every day to get into it and 2 hours in the morning to get out of it.
Wow, that's
every day.
That's dedication. That's cool.
Yeah, it was great makeup. Well, 3 makeup artists working on it.
3 different makeup artists?
Yeah, because I had to apply the latex and it just was a very time-consuming process, and I had to do it exactly the same every time.
Wow. Was it, you probably got like really warm wearing all that makeup all day. Was it during the summertime you guys were filming?
Well, I don't think so. I think I seem to recall it was in the fall, but there was, and it was at night, so it wasn't that hot, but there was a lot of mosquitoes. And sometimes I would just take a nap in the coffin. I closed the lid. And one time some wise guys started to take a shovel and shovel some dirt into the grave while I was in the coffin. And I came bounding out. And they just started screaming. And, even though they knew it was me and they knew it was an actor, they got scared. I was about to kill him anyway. For real.
That's funny. Now, were you in other films? Did you pursue other acting gigs or?
Well, the only other one that I did that I got credit for, and they gave me a SAG card, was Porky's the Next Day, which is also known as Porky's 2. Anyway, so, and then, I was an extra in some films, but I never had any kind of credits.
Oh, okay. So you just did a little bit of acting.
Yeah, a little bit, but not enough. I should have gone on to do Miami Vice, but I was busy doing other things at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I never got an agent, and I never did the headshots and all the things that you're supposed to do to further one's career.
Yeah.
I'd be a multimillionaire.
Well, what career did you end up pursuing? Did you do I'm guessing you did other things instead.
Well, I became a real estate investor, and I did real estate appraising on auctioneer. I had a general contracting and roofing company.
Wow.
I was a mortgage broker, and I had a political sign company, and I had newspapers, hotels, apartment buildings, different things.
So you still had a good career. It sounds like you were involved with a lot of things.
Right. I just did whatever I wanted to do as long as I didn't have to work for anybody.
Oh, that's a great mindset to be your own boss.
Right, well, nobody would hire me to that. I always wound up becoming the boss.
Cool. What do you think of the film after all this time? And there's a following still of the movie. What do you think of the new fans of today?
Well, when I went to sign autographs a couple of years ago in New Jersey, and I was amazed at the number of fans that I had. Evidently, it was shown on Channel 9 in New York for years off and on. And most of the people saw it when they were children. And a lot of them would say, hey, I saw it when I was 10 years old, and it scared the bejesus out of me. And it was the scariest movie I ever saw. And they want my autograph and all this kind of stuff. So for $30, I give them the autograph.
That's cool. Now, I know with the pandemic, Cinema Wasteland was trying to get you and the other actors last year, but then the pandemic happened. Do you think you'll be coming back to conventions maybe next year or something?
Well, if I'm invited, I'll go. As long as they send me tickets and pay me, I'll go.
Awesome.
But I'm on Facebook, and I think I get about 2 or 3 contacts a month for people who said that they were, fans of the movie and fans of me. And, a lot of times it's friends of friends or connections from, your friend Joey's. And, I get, contacts from all over the world. It was funny. One time I was on a dating site, and the girl said, hey, I'm into horror movies. I said, well, I just happen to be the star of a horror movie. And she says, not only have I seen the movie, but I saw it over 1,000 times. I've memorized the script, and I fell in love with you when I was 10 years old, and I'm still in love with you. So, naturally, I flew up to see her, and he was still in love with me. Still is. So, crazy things happen.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. Now, do you watch other horror films? Are you a fan? Do you have a favorite monster? No,
I really have not followed up with any, because I wanted to keep my unique personality or whatever. I don't want to be influenced by it. But I would, if someone showed it to me, I'd watch it, but I never pursued it. And I always liked the old classics, Frankenstein and people like that. I have a great photo of Boris Karloff daintily taking a cup of tea in full Frankenstein makeup, but with his shirt off. And I put it on my Facebook page if you want to dig that out from years ago.
Everyone loves Frankenstein, so that's a classic. So he's probably your favorite one.
The best Frankenstein movie was, aside from the first two, was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And they had a lot of people in there. I think the Wolfman was in there. It was a crazy movie.
Yeah, the Abbott and Costello movies are definitely funny with the monsters. It's the horror comedy. It's that fun, goofy kind of movie.
Yeah, it's like when Marlon Brando did a reprise of The Godfather in the movie. It wasn't called The Graduate. It was something similar name. And it was funny, But sometimes the blow-offs are better than the original.
Cool. All All right. And then do you have any advice for any aspiring actors or filmmakers that might be listening to this?
Just do it. Just pursue your dream. I had a fan who worked on the assembly line in Detroit, I think for Ford, one of the motor companies. And he was a fan. And somebody said, hey, you want to look at this guy's website? And he had created a bust of me from the movie, like, it looked just like me. And so I contacted him and I said, hey, I'm Seth, and he went nuts. And he sent me a copy of the bust. And he became a horror movie actor. And he had like a 10 or 15 year career. And he got some kind of disease and he died. But he was like my greatest fan.
Aw. That's cool. So he went for it. He pursued it.
Right. So, all you have to do is just do it. Don't give up. Just keep knocking on doors and asking for parts, and don't take no for an answer.
Some good advice. Thank you, Seth. And who was your favorite actor to work with?
I didn't really have much, I did a movie with Joe Pesci and Rodney Dangerfield one time, but it was just, I just walked off the set eventually, but they were kind of fun. Rodney was just sweating all the time, and Pesci was, Pesci was Pesci.
That's cool.
I went to school in New Orleans from 1962 to 1966.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of movies shot in New Orleans at that time, including The Cincinnati Kid, and This Property is Condemned. As a matter of fact, This Property is Condemned with Natalie Wood and Robert Redford was the first movie that Robert Redford appeared in, I believe. And he was a real handsome guy. And Natalie Wood even winked at me in one of the scenes. But I was off camera, so, they didn't pick me up. But that was kind of fun.
Wow, that's incredible. So did you grow up in New Orleans then?
No, I grew up in Hollywood, Florida, and I went to Tulane University in New Orleans for 4 years. Matter of fact, I used to shoot pool every day with Paul Glazer. I'm watching The Mummy and the Monkey, my favorite show.
Thank you, Seth. And
send me a copy of this interview, please.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm gonna put it together, and yeah, we could play part of it for tomorrow night's show, and we'll put up a picture of the character Orville, and your name, and just play the audio.